Chapter 71. Head supporting the heavens, feet trampling the netherworld. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Sekong Nan waved his hands. Surging true netherworld water instantly roared towards Lin Feng, turning into a tidal wave and crashing down upon Lin Feng. Right now Lin Feng has reached a critical moment in studying the netherworld Nirvana manual. Sekong Nan suddenly coming to interrupt made Lin Feng very irritated in his heart. The 24 Sariras floated above Lin Feng's head. Rolling Buddhist light turned into a golden prosperous cloud, holding back the true netherworld water that fell from the sky. The mana cultivated by Buddhist Tao techniques is the most heavy and condensed. Even the true netherworld water cannot get rid of it right away. But the golden prosperous cloud is still rapidly eroding at a visible rate and will not last for much longer. Sekong Nan laughed coldly while staring at Lin Feng. Let me see how long you can last. While speaking, he constantly urged the true netherworld water to attack Lin Feng. Lin Feng wrinkled his forehead and his mind communicated with the Tao Tai cub in the ring. Tun Tun. I don't want to. Tun Tun shrieked, her little head shaking like a rattle-drum. She shouted in exasperation. You're such a bad person. You actually want me to drink true netherworld water. Lin Feng laughed saying. It's okay if you refuse, but I need to make it clear to you first that besides this thing, there isn't anything else for you to eat for some time. If you don't want to then just go starve. Tun Tun was a bit hesitant. Seeing her expression, a thought appeared in Lin Feng's heart. You've drank true netherworld water before. Yeah, the taste is so good. Tun Tun hesitated for a moment and still said. But after drinking it my head was all dizzy and I can't remember a lot of things from the past. Lin Feng's jaw dropped. The Tao Tai is truly one of the 4 great ancient savage beasts, swallowing the heavens and devouring the earth. It isn't even afraid of the domineering true netherworld water and just loses some memories. Its mana isn't actually purified at all. What's there to be afraid of? If it tastes good then everything's okay, deliciousness is the most important thing. Lin Feng tempted her incessantly. The expression on Tun Tun's face became more and more struggled. She knows that Lin Feng does not have good intentions, but she cannot restrain her gluttonous nature. For a Tao Tai, eating is a natural instinct on the same level as survival. Screw it, eat first think later. This past half a year was about to starve me to death. Finally, the little loli yelled out in frustration. In her yelling, her body reverted back to her original Tao Tai form. Lin Feng tossed up the ring and removed the heaven cage sigil within. A massive suction force instantly came from the ring, swallowing the true netherworld water like a black hole. Taking advantage of the Buddhist light and the ring blocking the river water, Lin Feng started to seize the time to study the netherworld Nirvana manual. While he was studying the Tao technique, his mind was also attempting to communicate with the true netherworld water. The same as the art of Akala cultivating fury Akala flames, the ability cultivated by the netherworld Nirvana manual is true netherworld water. Comparing the two and combining theory with practice, the many problems in Lin Feng's heart before all suddenly became clear. In his mind, there seemed to be a river rushing by. The river water flowed unceasingly, like time, eternal and unstopping. Lin Feng silently stared at his own reflection in the river. The reflection is not his fixed appearance and is instead constantly changing into a myriad of appearances. A charming newly wed girl, an old and dying elder, a meditating monk chanting scriptures, a dangerous bandit killing and robbing, a suave young man. One after another broken fragments, thousands of lives of reincarnation. A light of understanding surfaced in Lin Feng's heart. This is my last life, my last life, my past lives of countless reincarnations. Reincarnation through the netherworld, death and rebirth. All life moves towards decay and oblivion here, and then new life. Taos of life, death, reincarnation and nirvana resounded in Lin Feng's mind. In the end they blended together as one and even connected together as a line with the mana in his body, like a netherworld river quietly flowing in the netherworld. Lin Feng opened his eyes. Looking at the surging true netherworld water before him, he smiled faintly. Seeing his smile, Sikong Nan's heart trembled for no reason, as if he was about to be struck by disaster. Lin Feng, who was sitting down cross-legged, suddenly stood up. He took back the ring Tun Tun is inhabiting, and the golden Buddhist light above his head also rose up into the air. No longer blocking the true netherworld water and allowing the endless river water to fall on his body. Sikong Nan's eyes popped. He discovered in shock that the true netherworld water poured straight on Lin Feng's body, but Lin Feng was completely unharmed. There wasn't even a single drop of that true netherworld water that touched his body, instead it landed meekly under Lin Feng's feet and supported him up. The true netherworld water that purifies and wipes out everything in the world is right now just like a docile servant. Obediently bowing down under Lin Feng's feet and holding up Lin Feng like protecting a king. Head supporting the heavens, feet trampling the netherworld. Sikong Nan stared blankly at this scene. How can this be? Lin Feng laughed. Why not? He glanced at Sikong Nan and smiled, saying, Get down. With his command, the true netherworld water holding up Sikong Nan's body suddenly dropped. Caught off guard, Sikong Nan's body that was hanging in the air directly fell into the surging netherworld river. Sikong Nan was alarmed. Sikong Nan, who has already been completely refined by the netherworld bead, all of his mana has merged with the true netherworld water. He can no longer use any of the Tao techniques and skills that he knew before. If he is unable to control the true netherworld water, he'll essentially become a sheep at the mercy of the shepherd. Unfortunately, right now, no matter how he ordered it, the true netherworld water did not have any reaction. Lin Feng was also not in a rush to attack. He only stared at Sikong Nan with a faint smile on his face. Right now Sikong Nan was as if he had a bucket of cold water dumped on him. He felt shivers from the top of his head to the soles of his feet, a deep despair surfaced in his heart. He roared as if a trapped beast. Even like so, you can't do anything about me either. I have already become one with the netherworld bead. Unless you destroy the netherworld bead, you can't kill me. With your cultivation level you simply cannot destroy the netherworld bead. Who said I want to destroy the netherworld bead? Rashly destroying such a treasure, isn't that a crime against nature? Lin Feng chuckled and shook his head, saying. Not to mention, who told you that I can only kill you by destroying the netherworld bead? Sikong Nan blanked, an ominous feeling surfaced in his heart. The next instant, he suddenly felt that the true netherworld water around his body became increasingly heavier, crushing the breath out of him. Right now, the originally pale yellow river water actually gradually turned black. The black true netherworld water constantly penetrated Sikong Nan's soul. Sikong Nan felt a feeling of suffocation like he was drowning. Lin Feng said slowly. I bet you don't know, there is a spell derived from the Netherworld Nirvana manual called Netherworld Puppeteer. It can use true netherworld water to turn people into puppets. This puppet is different from your Hunder Demon Night Parade technique. You turn people into wraiths and they only keep their mana and cultivation level before death. But their memories and intelligence are all erased, all that's left is resentment and murderous intent. But it is ultimately an inferior result. Lin Feng laughed softly and said. This netherworld puppeteer spell of mine turns people into puppets, but not only can they retain their memories before death, they will even still retain their own consciousness. Retaining its memories in life means that the puppet not only possesses its mana and cultivation level before death, even its abilities and spells will also be retained. Moreover, it will possess the cultivator's rich combat experience during its life. Retaining its consciousness means that it possesses intelligence. It can think and can react flexibly. Sikong Nan's heart became colder and colder. Lin Feng looked at him and smiled, saying. Simply speaking, you'll be the same as before you were turned into a puppet, besides one thing. That is, you will unconditionally obey my every command. Seekong Nan roared in despair. His originally pale yellow, nearly transparent soul had already been completely dyed black by the true netherworld water. Afterwards he was swallowed by the surging river water and sealed at the bottom of the river. Only after repressing Seekong Nan did Lin Feng's mind relax. He slightly sensed something and he lowered his head looking at the light sphere beneath his feet. Wang Lin's soul in the light sphere moved and he finally woke up. He opened his eyes with a dazed expression. Chapter 72. First Main Quest, complete. You are listening at novelfull.audio. In the light sphere, Wang Lin finally woke up. He turned his head looking around. He just so happened to see the scene of Seekong Nan's roaring in despair and getting swallowed by the true netherworld water. Thinking of Seekong Nan wanting to kill him before with monstrous ferocity, Wang Lin was slightly startled. Afterwards he lifted his head and saw a young Taoist in a wide-sleeved white robe wearing Taoist clothes looking at him with a smile. Above that white-robed young Taoist's head, a golden cloud of Buddhist light shone brightly and the netherworld river below his feet flowed endlessly. His sagely appearance made Wang Lin feel incredibly small. At this time Wang Lin started to gradually remember that the last scene he saw before he fainted was this white-robed Taoist descending from the sky, pushing back Seekong Nan and saving him. Now it looks like Seekong Nan has already been executed and he has been saved. Wang Lin hurriedly said. I was rude before and betrayed your kindness. Now I have also been rescued by you, I am truly ashamed. Lin Feng thought. Damn straight. But only the surface he only smiled faintly. As long as you are safe, child. Such a small matter is nothing but the lift of a finger for me. Wang Lin paused for a moment, his face revealing an awkward and struggling expression. He wanted to say something but he is too embarrassed to open his mouth. Lin Feng knew his thoughts. He smiled saying. Are you willing to take me as your master now? Wang Lin's mind was clear and he bowed down to the ground. Before I did not know the immensity of heaven and earth and treated you without proper respect. Thank you for not abandoning me and saving my life. I am willing to follow under your teaching and be at your disposal. Please accept me. Lin Feng sighed towards the sky. In his heart he is actually more excited than Wang Lin. Finally. Finally. At this moment, Lin Feng even had the impulse to cry. From the 1-year quest time limit there are actually only 5 days left. If things dragged on for another 5 days and he didn't complete the quest, with this bullshit system's bullshit nature, it definitely wouldn't be polite with him. It would definitely kill him on the spot. System notifications sounded constantly beside his ear. It was like a divine melody, unprecedentedly beautiful. Congratulations to host taking in your 4th direct disciple Wang Lin. Host has obtained reward of 1 lottery chance and 500 trading points. Main quest special reward issued. Lin Feng really wants to first look at his quest reward, but Wang Lin is still eagerly staring at him. Lin Feng could only force back his excited heart and say with an indifferent face. This netherworld bead is a surprising treasure. Put it away and be sure to study the profundities within. Wang Lin's lips moved but did not make any sounds. Seeing this, Lin Feng knew the thoughts in his mind. He smiled saying. This treasure may be good, but it is nothing to me. This is your own fortuitous opportunity, cherish it well. You also have 3 apprentice brothers, you'll understand when you see them. It is true that I will teach you guys everything that I know, but how far you guys can walk on this path of cultivation still depends on your own hard work. Wang Lin thought that Seekong Nan was so fierce but Master could still easily exterminate him. Master also does not care about the treasure that I value with my life. Even though I don't know what Master's cultivation level is, it is definitely extremely high. Me training with master is ultimately better than being a servant over at that Mount Heng school. Thinking here, Wang Lin's heart was fervent. Father, mother, I will definitely work hard. I can definitely become an immortal. Right now Lin Feng was checking the data in the system related to Wang Lin. Name: Wang Lin. Age: 15 years 6 months. Current level: Qi channeling, about to enter Qi disciple level 1. Potential attributes: Bone root 5, comprehension 10, will 10, luck 8. Recommended teaching plan: recommended to practice water class Dao techniques or dark sect Dao techniques. In terms of abilities, the recommended direction of development is a focus on spells. Note: his bone root is relative poor, so his initial cultivation difficulty will be greater, but he will seldom encounter bottlenecks when increasing his level. His cultivation progress is first slow then fast. Right now Lin Feng has 2 water class Dao techniques on his hand. One is the Blue Oceanic River technique, one is the Netherworld Nirvana manual. The latter is a lot stronger than the former and should originally belong to Wang Lin. With the assistance of the Netherworld bead it can help Wang Lin quickly bridge the initial stage of difficulty. After teaching Wang Lin the Netherworld Nirvana manual, Wang Lin completely refined the Netherworld bead, this treasure. Right now inside of the Netherworld bead, he is the absolute ruler. Even Lin Feng can only simply protect himself. But Wang Lin did not have any signs of smugness. He understands that this is entirely the arrangement made by Lin Feng to nurture him. Wang Lin may look silent, but he is a very emotional person in his heart. Lin Feng saved his life today, accepted him as his disciple and gave him a great gift. This debt of gratitude will remain firmly in his heart. Wang Lin refined the Netherworld bead and then under Lin Feng's guidance, his soul left the Netherworld bead and returned back to his body. At this time Lin Feng's mind had also completely retracted from within the Netherworld bead. Looking at Wang Lin he nodded his head in satisfaction. This has been a fruitful trip. He took in Wang Lin, this chosen one, as his disciple and moreover cultivated the Netherworld Nirvana manual, this kind of top tier Dao technique, grasped the spell Netherworld Puppeteer and turned an evil spirit into his puppet. It's just that the Netherworld Puppeteer may be good, but it also has its flaws. Such as he can only refine the person under the state where their body is destroyed and only the soul remains. Moreover, after practicing the Netherworld Puppeteer, the puppet is actually the same as a dead person. Their cultivation level before death is fixed and cannot be further increased. In addition, under the circumstance where the difference between the caster and the target's cultivation level is too great, he also cannot refine it and could suffer backlash. But what made Lin Feng the happiest is still the system reward after completing the quest. Besides taking in Wang Lin as his disciple and obtaining the standard lottery chance and 500 trading point, there is another special big prize obtained from completing the main quest. The special big prize is directly a mystery chest with a question mark. But Lin Feng noticed that there is still a difference between this chest and the mystery chest in his lottery system. The mystery chest in the lottery system that exists as the big prize is black, but this main quest reward chest in front of him is silver in color. It looks a lot more high grade. Lin Feng opened the chest without any hesitation. After taking a glance his eyes became fixed, staring into the chest unable to pull away. This thing. Oh my God. Only after a long while did Lin Feng recover his wits and gasp. He felt a bit like his brain couldn't keep up. Master, master. Seeing that his master seemed to be pondering about something, Wang Lin originally did not want to disturb him, but he was also afraid of delaying his master's business. Lin Feng returned to his senses and turned his head looking at Wang Lin. What's wrong? Wang Lin held a glowing crystal in his hand. This crystal has been flashing non-stop. Lin Feng focused his eyes. That is the voice transmission crystal. Is there something happening with Xiao Budian and the other two? Crushing the crystal, Zhu Yi voice traveled out from it. Master, we've encountered people from the Yu clan. They might have recognized junior apprentice, brother. We're doing our best to lose them. Eldest apprentice, brother was afraid of disturbing master's closed-door training, so he did not notify you. But I was afraid of an accident, so I wanted to let master know. Lin Feng inhaled a deep breath. He lifted his hand, taking back the black cloud flag enveloping the valley, and then lightly shook it. With the flowing of the black light, it wrapped up him and Wang Lin. Let's go. Chapter 73. Master isn't home. Surrounded by enemies, you are listening at novelfull.audio. Tao Er stood on the spot unmoving while the group of cultivators of the house of the Marquis behind him surrounded them. Zhu Yi and his two apprentice brothers stood side by side. Zhu Yi laughed a bit helplessly. Looks like now it's me who's dragged you guys down first. Xiao Yan and Xiao Budian both laughed without care. Tao Er, who was originally standing still on the spot, suddenly lifted his eyelids. A strong light suddenly surged in his originally muddy old eyes. A remnant of the Buddhist sect. Tao Er's eyes were like lightning, looking towards the depths of the mountain. In the mountain, a gray-clothed person wearing a straw hat on his head slowly walked out. Taking off the straw hat, he revealed a shiny bald head. Seeing this, Xiao Yan and company were all dazed. The person is precisely the gray-clothed monk who stopped them in the city square of Chuzhou. The three apprentice brothers exchanged gazes and all felt ashamed in their hearts. No matter how foolish they are, they know now that this monk has probably been following behind them the entire time. The gray-clothed monk brought his hands together. I am Hui Kong of the Great Thunder Monastery, greetings Mr. Tao Er. Tao Er started to laugh. You were fully aware that I was here and you still dared to show yourself. The gray-clothed monk, Hui Kong, calmly said. I want to chase back the Sariras of my sect elders. Even if it is a mountain of swords and a sea of flames or infernal hell in front of me, I will still plow forward without fear. Tao Er retracted his smile and nodded his head. If that's so, then enter early into the cycle of reincarnation and go follow your sect elders. Finishing speaking, he rose up his fists and the mana in his entire body surged. It actually manifested a Might Vajra apparition in the air, staring at Hui Kong with a fierce visage. A powerful mental pressure spread throughout the entire area. Zhu Yi and the other two are not his target objectives, but facing Tao Er right now they all had a feeling like their bodies couldn't move. The domineering strength of this skinny old man before them was completely displayed in this one move. Infinite power exploded out from his skinny and small body. Zhu Yi thought. No wonder Huang San is so polite in front of him. He is not respecting the elderly, he is afraid of Tao Er's strength that is above his. Dragon Elephant Vajra Fist. Hui Kong's eyes suddenly opened wide, anger appeared in his eyes for the first time. Because this martial skill that Tao Er is using right now is precisely the Great Thunder Monastery's secret Buddhist guardian skill that once shook the heavens. Tao Er laughed leisurely. That's right, this is precisely Dragon Elephant Vajra Fist. When the Marquis led his army and exterminated the Great Thunder Monastery, he collected your Dao techniques and skills as spoils of war and rewarded them to all of the soldiers who participated in the battle. This humble one only obtained the fist manual for this Dragon Elephant Vajra Fist. But after dozens of years of hard training I've finally obtained some mastery. You seem to be very discontent. The monks of the Great Thunder Monastery befogged the minds of the people, endangering the country, and were rightly exterminated. But your Dao techniques and skills should not have been buried along with it. They should be learned and used by more suitable people. Tao Er spoke with fervor and assurance. The monks who practiced the Dao techniques and skills committed evil, but the Dao techniques and skills themselves do not have any fault. Hui Kong stared straight at Tao Er and then inhaled a deep breath. Today I will exterminate you first, in the future I will definitely find Zhu Hongwu, that evil dog, to settle things. Finishing speaking, he brought his palms together. Boundless golden Buddhist light illuminated the surrounding dozens of kilometers of forest. In the golden light, a ferocious and dignified aura burst forth from within. The light figure of a Garuda flashed faintly within. It spread open its two wings, bringing up a strong gale and blowing everybody off balance. Numerous ancient, towering trees were blown down by the strong wind. Garuda blade. Hui Kong chanted a Buddhist prayer in a low voice. The Garuda in the Buddhist light shook its wings. 10 of thousands of blades of light shot towards Tao Air like a storm. It was like a heavy, golden rain had covered the entire mountain. Xiao Yan and Xiao Budian exchanged gazes and whispered. He's even stronger than that big monk using the Sariras from before. Xiao Budian nodded his head. He's the same as that old geezer of the Blaze Sword sect, they're both Aura's core stage cultivators. Facing the torrential golden light storm, Tao Air leisurely threw a punch at the light storm. He used the might of the Vajra incarnate repressing evil to face it head-on. The indomitable punch of extreme strength was as if it wanted to shatter the space that Hui Kong occupied. The light storm rained on Tao Air's body and constantly exploded. But Tao Air was as if he had become the incarnation of a Vajra, crossing the sea of suffering and as steady as a mountain. Powering forward and punching towards Hui Kong. In everyone's eyes, Hui Kong seemed to have become a demonic clown about to have his body obliterated by this punch and sent into the cycle of reincarnation. Hui Kong's expression slightly paled, he knows that he is no match for Tao Air. As an Aura's core stage cultivator, this Tao Air has completely abandoned spells and instead trained his body in martial skills to the limits of his current cultivation level. Spells and martial skills are all abilities. Martial skills are not as rich and varied as spells, but once cultivated to a certain degree, they also possess great power that can move the mountains and seas. They are even more powerful in close-quarters combat. Hui Kong inhaled a deep breath. The Garuda apparition in the golden light fused as one with his body and then he turned into a beam of light, fleeing hundreds of kilometers away in an instant and escaping Tao Air's attack range. Tao Air sighed. The Garuda windsurfing technique. Looks like I can't kill you today. Hui Kong left without any delay, he did not drag his feet at all. His Garuda windsurfing technique is the Great Thunder Monastery's strongest escape technique, traveling hundreds of kilometers in an instant. Tao Air's cultivation level may be higher than his, but he cannot catch up to him. But like this, them three apprentice brothers are now in trouble. After driving away Hui Kong, Tao Air turned his head and smiled saying. Okay then, take me to go find that demon who deluded you young Master Yi. After killing him I can take you back to Tianjing to report to the Marquis. Xiao Yan and Ko's expression slightly paled. If possible, they would immediately take Tao Air to go see their master and then let their master beat the crap out of Tao Air. But right now their master is in closed-door training. If they bring Tao Air over and disturb their master, that would be bad. The three people had the same thoughts, they all bit their teeth not speaking. Tao Air just wanted to say something when he suddenly furrowed his brows. Why are there so many outsiders today? Mr. Tao Air's words are not right. If you really want to say, this place is our great Qin dynasty's territory. You all come from far away, you guys are the true guests. A group of people walked out from the forest, the leader is precisely the member of the main branch of the Yu clan, Yu Tian. Sensing the mana fluctuations from the confrontation between Hui Kong and Tao Air and having a target, the people of the Yu clan instantly rushed over. Tao Air did not pay any heed to Yu Tian. His gaze fell upon the body of the plain-faced elder Yu being carried at the very back of the group. Is it Taoist Master Shan Yu? At this time elder Yu did not rest with his eyes close. He stood up staring at Tao Air and slightly nodded his head. Mr. Tao Air of the House of the Marquis of Xuanji. Greetings. Tao Air said. I am unworthy. Only now did he turn his gaze towards Yu Tian. What is young Master Yu here for? Yu Tian's gaze fell upon Xiao Budian. He asked the elder beside him. Are you certain it's this little brat? The elder nodded his head very certainly. I am here today from this little brat. Yu Tian said. What about you, Mr. Tao Er? Tao Er looked at Zhu Yi and said directly. I am here to find our family's young master Yi. I don't need anyone else, you can take them all away. But I need to first find out the whereabouts of their master and go get rid of that person. Yu Tian stared at Xiao Budian, a trace of cruelty flashed by in his eyes. Oh, you even found a master. Then there is indeed a need to get rid of him. Does Mr. Tu know where that person is? Tao Er shook his head. This time he placed his sights on Xiao Yan, who hasn't been focused on much this whole time. Naturally it is difficult for me to force young Master Yi. That kid is yours, so I won't care about him either. This black-clothed kid doesn't have any use. I'll pry open his mouth and get the answers from him. Chapter 74. Master isn't home. Won't submit. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Tao Er looked at Xiao Yan and said indifferently. This black-clothed kid is of no use. Let's pry open his mouth and get the answer from him. Hearing this, Yu Tian also looked toward Xiao Yan and started to laugh sinisterly. Pretty good, just what I was thinking. While speaking he waved his hand and a couple of Yu clan cultivators circled over wanting to capture Xiao Yan. Xiao Yan stared coldly at this scene. At this time he suddenly opened his mouth asking. I say, have you guys planned things out a bit too optimistically? His hands let go of the black metal greatsword and the greatsword crashed on the ground kicking up dirt. His two hands extended outward and mana gathered in his palms, condensing into two clusters of corporeal flames. The flames burned brightly and started to constantly compress. Compressing and compressing until they turned into two dark red spheres of light. Seeing these spheres of light, Tao Er's and Yu Tian's expressions both slightly changed. Red Lotus burst, the Void Temple. Xiao Yan's expression was ice-cold. His two hands pushed forward and the two spheres of light flew towards the Yu clan cultivators who pounced over. Boom! Boom! The two massive clumps of fire instantly exploded open. The two Yu clan cultivators didn't even have the time to react and their bodies were already blown into mists of blood. The roaring flames instantly swallowed the flesh and blood, directly turning them into ashes. Not even crumb was left. Two massive pits were blown open on the ground. Jagged cracks spread out like spiderwebs and the entire cliff was about to be torn apart. Everyone else stared dumbstruck at this disastrous scene. They may all be mass murderers with their hands stained in blood, but seeing their companions being blown to smithereens by Xiao Yan's Red Lotus burst, everybody felt chills run through their entire body. Tao Er's eyes flashed. Take them down, I want them alive. Find out their background. Along with Xiao Yan's attack, Zhu Yi and Xiao Budian also rushed forward together. Under the cover of the firelight from Red Lotus burst, they instantly charged into the enemy line. Crackling lightning poured out from their bodies. For a moment lightning flashed, dyeing everybody's vision blue and purple. The next moment, two massive lightning blades roared into existence, crossing together and forming a cross. Arcing through the air like a mowing sickle. Wild Lightning Blade. Xiao Budian and Zhu Yi, who both practiced the Nine Heavens Thunder technique together, used the Wild Lightning Blade that Lin Feng taught them. The violent lightning blade cut all obstacles in front of it directly into pieces, wildly reaping human lives. Capture the ringleader first in order to capture all his followers. Zhu Yi shouted in a low voice. He unsheathed the sword at his waist. Xiao Yan and Xiao Budian also did the same action. The sword technique of the Wayward Flying Sword and the escape technique of the Cloud Dragon Escape were fully displayed by the three apprenticed brothers. They turned into three arcs of light and shot towards the sky. Bully the weak, them three brothers aren't so stupid as to go fight Tao Er, who is considered a strong person even in the Aurus core stage. Yu Tian also didn't think that these three kids all look like they're just Chi disciple stage, but they are actually so fierce. Their mana is vigorous and their skills are astonishing. For a moment they were actually completely wreaking havoc amongst his men. Seeing them all charge towards him, Yu Tian laughed in anger. Perfect. His hands formed a spell sign and a crystal bottle flew out from his sleeve. At first it was only the size of a thumb, but it grew in the air and instantly turned into a dozen meters tall. The diameter of the bottleneck was a whole 10 feet. A massive force of suction came from the mouth of the crystal bottle, wanting to directly suck in Xiao Yan and Co. Xiao Yan yelled. Duo, and also brought out the Buddhist thunder staff. For a moment, Buddhist light exploded and directly withstood the suction of the crystal bottle. But with this delay, Xiao Yan and Co.'s assault was also dissolved. Yu Tian sneered, the lineal Dao technique of the Yu clan, the art of the water god started circulating. A mana aura as vast as the ocean instantly weighed down on Xiao Yan and company, making it hard for them to breathe. Seeing this, Tao Er praised him saying, "Young Master Yu is truly a child of the Yu main branch and a main target of nurture. Already establishing your Dao root at such a young age. Yu Tian's cultivation level is far superior to Xiao Budian's and the other twos. Even with 3 against 1, he is still at ease." The endless cold air had virtually turned into a cover, enveloping the three people. In the area of the cold air, Xiao Yan and company all sensed that not only had their mana circulation become sluggish, even their bodies were about to become frozen. Xiao Yan bit his teeth. Screw it. He threw away the sword in his hand, not using it, and suddenly lowered his body, picking up that heavy, burdensome black metal greatsword. If you and me really are fated today, then help me get over the hurdle in front. Xiao Yan clenched his teeth, his mind completely assimilated into the black metal greatsword. Rumble. After just entering, Xiao Yan instantly knew that he'd poked the hornet's nest. Like an unparalleled tyrant who had been in deep slumber being suddenly awoken and releasing the most terrifying roar. In Xiao Yan's mind, there was only fire, purple fire, boundless and endless fire. The fire that was like a mighty ocean dyed the entire space in a terrifying, sinister purple. Tao Er suddenly opened his eyes wide. Elder Yu, who originally had a half-dead look, also had a more serious expression. In the dense fog of cold air, Xiao Yan's pained and frenzied howl traveled out from within. The next moment, a dark purple greatsword nearly 10 meters long and as wide as a door rose up into the air and pierced through the cold mist. Xiao Yan released a furious roar, his hands holding onto a greatsword of fire and lifting it high above his head, pointing straight at the heavens. He had an imposing manner as fierce as a god of fire descending upon the human world and cleansing all evil. All enemies will be burned to nothingness. Yu Tian was dumbstruck. He watched as Xiao Yan ripped apart the cold mist with his sword and chopped towards him. Soaring flames arced through the air, virtually tearing apart the air and leaving behind a dark purple trail in the air that lingered on. This attack kills all enemies below the Aurus core stage. At this time Elder Yu could not longer sit by idly and he released a cold snort. Light flickered in front of Yu Tian and a divine blackstone mountain suddenly surfaced. It was ancient, heavy, majestic and indestructible. Xiao Yan's cultivation level is far inferior to his and the fire greatsword was blocked though the divine blackstone mountain. Even though it struck the divine blackstone mountain and caused it to constantly shake, it was unable to break through Elder Yu's defense spell. The fire greatsword exploded with a bang. The flames that burst out turned into a flurry of scattered flames, hitting the surrounding Chi disciple and Foundation establishment cultivators and causing them to flee in a panic. Elder Yu exhaled a long breath. Not bad, boy. But he did not show any mercy. He formed a spell sign and the divine blackstone mountain flew up into the air and pressed down toward Xiao Yan. Xiao Yan looked at this scene unresigned, but he no longer had the strength to attack again. The black metal greatsword fell heavily to the ground. All of his mana was exhausted and he couldn't even move a pinky finger. "This sword of yours, give it to me too." He heard Elder Yu's voice beside his ears. Xiao Yan wanted to resist, but the divine Blackstone Mountain directly pressed him down on the ground. The black metal greatsword was also already snatched off the ground. Elder Yu swung around the black metal greatsword. "It is indeed extraordinary, but you are unworthy of it." While speaking, he increased his mana and the divine Blackstone Mountain shrank to the size of a millstone, but its weight increased instead, crushing Xiao Yan, making him lie on the ground unable to move. "Speak, where is that master of yours?" Xiao Yan lay on the ground, he clenched his teeth not speaking. His entire skeleton were creaking and all of the bones in his body were about to be crushed by Elder Yu's spell. Zhu Yi and Xiao Budian exclaimed. "Eldest apprentice, brother. Quiet." Xiao Yan roared in a low voice. Blood faintly exuded from his face. He strained himself and turned his head looking towards Elder Yu. "Take it easy, old geezer. One day my master will find you guys to settle things and cut down your dog heads." Tao Er at the side walked over, his face was expressionless. "There won't be that day. The result will only be me killing him. Unfortunately you are destined to be unable to see that wonderful scene." Only at this time did Yu Tian, who was still in shock, collect his wits. He stared at Xiao Yan with a dark expression. He never imagined that he would almost be killed by a Qi disciple level 9 kid. Right now he is a bit furious from embarrassment. "Elder Yu, break all of the bones in this little bastard's body." He stared at Xiao Yan and said with a cruel smile. "You are very loyal to your master, but is there any use? What need is there for a master who can't even protect his own disciple? He's nothing but a worthless wretch." Xiao Yan growled. "Bullshit. Elder Yu constantly increased his power." Xiao Yan's body was already releasing the sound of bones breaking, putting him in a cold sweat from the pain. Elder Yu said coldly. "I'll give you another chance. Tell me where your master is and I'll end your suffering." "In your dreams." Xiao Yan said one word at a time, using all of the strength in his body. Zhu Yi and Xiao Budian wanted to charge over, but they were respectively surrounded by the cultivators of the house of the Marquis of Xuanji and the Yu clan. They are hopelessly outnumbered and are also about to be captured. Tao Er looked at Zhu Yi and said slowly. "Young Master Yi, do you see? Maybe that demon is right around here, watching his own disciple suffer but not daring to come out to save him. You tell me, what use is there is having such a waste as your master?" With a quiet and pale face, Zhu Yi did not say anything. Yu Tian on the other hand, walked over beside Xiao Yan and kicked Xiao Yan's back. He laughed saying. "You are wrong, Mr. Tao Er. Looking at this black-clothed kid, you know that a piece of trash taking a piece of trash as his master is just perfect." Xiao Yan's eyes were bloodshot. "Don't call me trash." The feeling of powerlessness today made him think of those dark 3 years of time again. Yu Tian laughed saying. "I called you that, what can you do about it?" "Not much, you just need to leave your life behind." A cold and indifferent voice suddenly sounded in the air. Yu Tian's smile froze on his face. Everybody's expression slightly changed. Tao Er and old geezer Yu turned their gazes towards the distance. There, 2 people appeared. See, one of them is a thin and small youth, closely following behind another person. That is a young Daoist in a wide-sleeved robe wearing Daoist clothes, staring at them without any expression on his face. Zhu Yi and Xiao Budian called out simultaneously. "Master!" On the ground, Xiao Yan had already fallen into a semi-unconscious state. After seeing who came, his eyes beamed with a weak radiance and he started to laugh. Lin Feng looked at the black-clothed youth whose face was covered in blood. After being silent for a moment, he nodded his head not saying anything, but Xiao Yan understood his meaning. Turning around and facing Yu Tian and company, Lin Feng only said one line. Come die. Chapter 75. Beat everyone down. You are listening at NovelFull.audio. Come die. Lin Feng opened his mouth saying. His voice was calm and indifferent. Not mentioning Yu Tian turning red in the face, even Tao Er and Elder Yu wrinkled their foreheads. They cannot see through Lin Feng's cultivation level, but having their noses pointed at and being cursed by Lin Feng, they both boiled with anger. Elder Yu snorted coldly. Petty tricks, let me see what you've got. Finishing speaking, he waved his right hand and the divine Blackstone Mountain crushing Xiao Yan flew up into the air. It turned into a massive mountain that blocked out the sky and pressed down towards Lin Feng. The light in the sky above Lin Feng's head instantly darkened. You are not worthy to fight with me. Lin Feng didn't even look at the mountain above his head. He said coldly. Let me find you an opponent on the same level. Before his voice had died away, a tall black figure suddenly appeared in front of Lin Feng. Elder Yu was dazed for a moment before seeing that the black figure looks to have a human form, but its entire body is covered by heavy armor. In the slits of the armor, red light flashed faintly. A terrifying aura of frenzied brutality swept the entire area. The violent mana fluctuation like a natural disaster made Elder Yu's and Tao Er's faces change color. Elder Yu blurted out. What is that thing? Lin Feng didn't pay him any attention, he only lightly said to the armored giant. Kill this old bastard. The position of the two eyes on the giant's helmet visor was originally pitch black. At this time two red dots of light suddenly lit up and it released a loud roar. Roar. A deafening roar as if it came from an ancient, prehistoric time resounded in the entire mountain, as if a slumbering giant suddenly woke up at this moment. In the roaring sound is a ruthlessness and tyranny that makes people's hearts pound. It was like it was filled with an endless desire for destruction and slaughter. The source of the roar represents the most terrifying calamity in the world. Destroy, slaughter, rage, ruin. The most violent and domineering beast in the world escaped from the cage imprisoning it and reappeared in the world. Not waiting for anybody to react, the armored giant's feet stepped on the ground. Violent power caused the mountain to be torn asunder and the dirt to fly in the air. Using the power of the reverberation, the armored giant's body flickered and had already vanished from the spot. The next time it appeared again in everyone's sights, it was already beneath the divine Blackstone Mountain. And right now the divine Blackstone Mountain has just floated to above Lin Feng's head and has yet to come down upon him. Elder Yu's heart tightened. He saw that armored giant raise its fists upward, striking a pose of Atlas carrying the world and smashing the bottom of the divine Blackstone Mountain. The armored giant was as if it wanted to fell the pillar supporting the heavens in one punch and shatter the earth. Right now the divine Blackstone Mountain is nearly 100 meters tall with a radius of hundreds of meters. The armored giant's body may be of heavy stature, but its height is only 2.3 meters. The size of the two parties is completely disproportional. But in the violent crashing noise, it was the massive divine Blackstone Mountain that was directly smashed away. The incredibly massive mountain was directly smashed away with one punch. The crowd of people were all dumbfounded. His soul-bound magic item that is attached to his life being damaged, Elder Yu in particular coughed out a mouthful of blood. Everybody stared in terror at the armored giant in the air. War God Golem. This is the system reward Lin Feng obtained after completing the main quest. As long as there is enough energy provided for consumption, this war god golem that is not afraid of death can explode with absolutely terrifying combat strength. Originally with Lin Feng's current cultivation level, he is entirely unable to control it, but he just so happens to have a nice material on his hands. Before this, he threw Sikong Nan's soul that he had controlled using Netherworld Puppeteer into the war god golem. Even though Sikong Nan's cultivation level has dropped due to heavy injury, his strength in the past was extremely powerful. Even nascent soul stage cultivators are looked down upon by him, so the quality of his soul is very high. And right now, Lin Feng is using the means of sacrificing him and forcing Seikong Nan to burn his soul to provide power for the war god Golem. No matter how he struggles, Seikong Nan, who has already fallen under Lin Feng's control, can only obediently sacrifice his soul. The anger and depression in his heart intensified the war god Golem's ferocity and bloodlust even more. After smashing away the divine Blackstone Mountain, the war god Golem landed on the ground from the air and smashed a deep pit in the ground. Countless pieces of broken stone rolled down, virtually burying it alive, but the next instant the pile of broken stones exploded and countless stones shot in all directions. A massive black shadow charged up from the stone pile and pounced straight at Old Geezer Yu. Old Geezer Yu's was blue in the face. He called back the divine Blackstone Mountain to block in front of him. Right now the massive mountain has shrunken down to the size of only a human fist, the mana is condensed to the extreme and the defense has also been elevated to the extreme. Old Geezer Yu spit out a mouthful of vital blood onto the divine mountain. The divine mountain flared with an amazing brilliance, black light flowed and condensed into a hand held shield. On the face of the shield is relief of a mighty miracle god, emitting a powerful, indestructible aura. Divine mighty miracle shield, the strongest defense. But, it's useless. The war god Golem destroyed the mighty miracle shield with one punch, smashing the divine Blackstone Mountain away again. This time it directly turned into a small dot and flew towards the horizon, no longer able to be seen again. Elder Yu was dumbstruck. The war god Golem had already charged to his front and sent him flying with a slap. The old geezer coughed out mouthfuls of blood and was flung into the air. The bones on one side of his body crackled, breaking out of shape in his body. He looks floppy and mushy. It wasn't over yet. The war god Golem's body flickered and it had already caught up beside him. Lin Feng sneered, saying, "You wanted to crush all of the bones in my disciple's body just now." The war god Golem lifted its big feet and heavily stomped on Elder Yu's body. The old geezer released a blood-curdling scream. With this, the bones in the other half of his body that were still relatively okay were also completely crushed. His entire body had turned entirely into a pool of sludge and he collapsed to the ground. The cultivators of the Yu clan all had blank expressions. They were originally in the middle of capturing Xiao Budian. Seeing this scene, some guy reacted over first. He hurriedly retreated, afraid of himself becoming the war god Golem's target. With one person taking the lead, the other people all reacted over. They all stepped backwards and a large empty space instantly appeared around Xiao Budian. Yu Tian's eyeballs were already about to fall to the ground. Even in their Yu clan, an Aurus core stage guest elder is still a core member. But he was actually kicked over on the ground by someone in one move. What made him even more scared is that Lin Feng's gaze had already fallen upon him. He opened his mouth coldly. "Just now, you said my disciple is a piece of trash." Yu Tian's entire body trembled. He shrank backwards, wanting to hide into the crowd. Before he was afraid that he didn't stand out enough, but now he is scared of Lin Feng seeing him. Unfortunately, he is just deluding himself. The war god Golem charged into the crowd like lightning, knocking everyone off their feet and then grabbing towards Yu Tian. Yu Tian shouted angrily. "You've gone too far." The crystal bottle flew out from his sleeve, growing in the air and turning a dozen meters tall. The 10-foot bottle mouth was aimed at the war god Golem, wanting to suck in the Golem. At the same time, the mana of the art of the war god was circulated by Yu Tian to the extreme. A dense ice fog spread out, wanting to freeze the enemy. Unfortunately, it's all useless. The war god Golem completely ignored the besieging ice fog and directly smashed apart the crystal bottle with one punch. It then picked up Yu Tian like a little chick and dragged him out of the ice fog. Yu Tian released a panicked yell. "What do you want to do?" Lin Feng stared coldly at Yu Tian. Just now, it was this leg that stepped on my disciple's body. While speaking, a thought arose in his mind and the war god golem grabbed Yu Tian's right leg. No. You dare. Not waiting for Yu Tian to finish speaking, the war god golem had already ripped his leg straight off from his body. Yu Tian screamed. Not waiting for him to faint, in the sound of the war god golem's bellowing, his entire body had already been completely ripped apart. In the blood rain that rained down from the sky, the war god golem that howled towards the sky was like a god of slaughter descended upon the world. Frenzied, savage and all-powerful. At this time, Tao Er, who was silent at the side the whole time, suddenly took a step forward. His skinny body was as fast as lightning, charging towards Xiaoye, who was on the ground. Lin Feng's expression turned cold. You court death. The war god golem roared, throwing down Yu Tian, who was like a broken bag and rushing out like lightning. It arrived first even though it moved later and had already blocked in front of Tao Er. Such speed. Tao Er's face was calm. He originally wanted to use Xiaoyan as a hostage, but now that he has been intercepted by the war god golem, he simply changed his offensive, wanting to catch the war god golem off guard. The old geezer inhaled a deep breath, the skin on his body like withered tree bark started to roll violently. The scenery in front of everybody's eyes blurred. They saw Tao Er's skinny and shriveled body blow up like a balloon. His old and wrinkled skin also became smooth and rich at this instant, flashing with a bright, rosy luster. In a moment, feeble old Tao Er was actually as if he'd become rejuvenated, turning into 10-foot-tall buff man in an instant. The muscles under the surface of his body were like they were cast from iron, filled with an explosive strength. His plump, round face was solemn and dignified. His eyes stared at Lin Feng like the glare of a Vajra. Only now at this moment did Tao Er show his true strength. It is also only under this state that he can unleash the full power of Dragon Elephant Vajra Fist. Tao Er breathed out loud and shouted. Sky Dragon and Sky Elephant, suppressing all demons. With this shout, Tao Er's mana vibrated strongly. He formed a 30-foot-tall Vajra apparition above his head, at the same time also manifesting a dragon and an elephant that simultaneously circled around the Vajra apparition. The dragon and elephant together released a long, deafening cry. The scales on the dragon's body shook, emitting the supreme authority of the dragon as the ruler of the 9 heavens, repressing all life in the greater realm. All of the muscles in the elephant's body stirred. Its 4 feet trampled around wildly, virtually causing an earthquake. With this dragon and elephant appearing together, Tao Er has used his ultimate move, the ace up his sleeves. The power of Dragon Elephant Vajra Fist's killing move, Dragon Elephant Demon Vanquishing, has been exerted to the extreme, fiercely attacking towards the war god golem. But, it is still useless. The war god golem didn't even look at Tao Er's attack and it didn't block either. Its fists rose upwards, like the quaking of the earth, the lava that erupts from the volcano, the flooding rivers and lakes, the ancient dragon that rises up from being startled, all erupting together. Just exerting force like this, it had already directly scattered Tao Er's dragon elephant apparition. The war god golem's fists transitioned to open palms, its hands flipping over together and smashing down towards Tao Er's head. With this flip and press, Tao Er instantly felt like the world had flipped around. The entire space collapsed down and a conception of great destruction as if the entire universe was about to be destroyed completely enveloped him. Awe-inspiring might like heaven and earth had been overturned. This is the thought in Tao Er's heart when he was facing this move of the war god golems. This kind of awe-inspiring might virtually wore down all of his courage. But he has after all cultivated for many years. One Horus core swallowed into the stomach, through the gates of life and death. With the strong will in his heart, he instantly returned to his senses. With a fierce roar, his hands turned upward and with the position of supporting upwards, he withstood the war god golem's palms that pressed downward. Boom! When his two arms and the war god golem's pressing down palms just came in contact, Tao Er instantly felt his entire skeleton wildly creaking, like it could burst apart at any moment. Tao Er's vision blurred. All of the blood in his body was virtually about to explode everywhere from the agitation. His mind slacked and his knees became weak. He directly fell to the ground on one knee. One knee heavily kneeled on the ground like a giant hammer smashing the ground. Like a meteor falling to the earth, the solid ground around him caved in, forming a massive crater. The surrounding dust and dirt was stirred up like a sandstorm. The war god golem's attack directly beat a great Aurus core stage cultivator onto his knee on the ground. With this kneel, Tao Er's kneecap was completely crushed. His leg was completely scrapped. But if not for this kneel, if he stood straight and took the war god golem's attack head-on, all of the bones in Tao Er's body would have probably been crushed to pieces on the spot. Even his spine would be injured. At this time, Tao Er, who was always very composed, finally became panicked. His eyes were bloodshot and he released a wild and desperate roar. All of his mana was circulated to the extreme. The Vajra apparition formed again, wanting to shake off the war god golem. Lin Feng stared coldly at Tao Er, not speaking. He only gave a command in his heart to Sikong Nan's soul that was injected into the war god golem. Burn completely, explode with everything you've got. The red light in the war god golem's eyes flashed wildly. It released a loud roar and its body suddenly straightened. The armor over its entire body opened up and dazzling red light shot out from all of the slits as if there was something exploding within. The war god golem's feet exerted force while standing still on the spot. The ground instant shook like there was an earthquake. Its palms that had originally exhausted all of their energy instantly erupted again with a world-crushing power, suddenly pressing down towards Tao Er. Crack! 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 Ah! Wild screams, Tao Er's entire skeleton became twisted. Following after old Geezer Yu, the second steward of the house of the Marquis of Xuanji, Aurus core stage cultivator Tao Er also followed his footsteps. His entire skeleton was shattered by the war god golem. Everybody stared in terror at this scene before them. For a long time they could not speak a word. In the sound of the war god golem's violent roar, Lin Feng's voice was calm and cold, as if it came from the very depths of hell. Who else is there? Chapter 76. Nobody's leaving. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Who else is there? Lin Feng calmly asked. The cultivators of the Yu clan and the house of the Marquis of Xuanji all stared at the war god golem in terror. They subconsciously shook their heads and stepped backwards, afraid of themselves becoming the next target. Lin Feng slightly knit his brows. With a thought, the war god golem roared at the sky. Its roar harbored endless mana and formed invisible ripples that spread out everywhere, knocking its opponents down like bowling pins. The sound waves spread to the distant skyline. The air in the sky shook, revealing Monk Huikong's shocked face. Lin Feng laughed coldly, saying, "Want to hide at the side to seize an opportunity? Those who had their eyes on my disciples, don't think of leaving today." The war god golem growled, its legs exerted force again and created a deep pit in the ground while its body shot straight like a cannon towards Huikong, who was hiding in the air. Huikong's face paled and he wanted to use the escape technique of the Garuda windsurfing technique to escape. If he is allowed to use the escape technique, he will instantly skyrocket away and flee hundreds of kilometers away. Even the war god golem can't catch up to him. But the war god golem's explosive power is too strong. Its short-distance dashing speed is shockingly fast, virtually passing through over 1,000 meters of space in a flash. It charged in front of Huikong like instantaneous teleportation. And at this time, Huikong had yet to use his escape technique. Too fast, the war god golem's speed is honestly too fast. Huikong's escaped technique can be used with a single thought, but he still didn't have enough time. Huikong shouted with open eyes. Buddha is merciful. If he can't dodge it then he won't. While Buddhist light flashed, the Garuda spread its wings releasing a deafening cry, setting off a powerful storm that seemed to want to tear asunder the sky. With the spreading of the Garuda's wings, countless blades of light shot towards the war god Golem. Unfortunately, it's all useless. The armor over the war god Golem's body was already dyed in a red light. Its final bit of strength burst forth, forcing its way through the light storm attack. Its arms spread open and directly embraced Hui Kong, whose eyes seemed to be about to pop from anger. Being tightly constricted by the war god Golem's iron cast arms, Hui Kong was unable to move. He couldn't even circulate his mana and he was directly captured alive. The 3 Aurus Core stage cultivators on scene today who wanted to do harm to Lin Feng and his disciples, 2 of them died and 1 of them was captured. Nobody escaped. Lin Feng shook the black cloud flag and put away the war god Golem and Hui Kong. Taking back the black cloud flag, Lin Feng did not say anything. He stood with his hands behind his back, looking at the sky in the other direction. A wave of laughter traveled over from the sky. Nice skills, fellow Daoist, you let me see a good show. The cloud spread apart, revealing Master Pu Bei's figure. Behind him was also following a couple of people. They are clearly the executive level of the Eternal Tao sect. Lin Feng said coolly. You've watched enough, fellow Daoist, what do you have to say showing yourself now? Mount Hang has already become the Eternal Tao sect's territory. The battle nearby naturally startled Master Pu Bei. He rushed over here a long time ago and silently observed at the side. He didn't have any interest in Tao Air, all of his attention was on Lin Feng. Unfortunately Lin Feng himself did not do anything, he just sent out a golem that destroyed everyone. That golem may be powerful, but it can only bluster around in front of Aurus Core stage cultivators. It is nothing to me. Master Pu Bei thought. But this Daoist is truly a bit enigmatic. I have nothing against him and even owe him a small favor. This person is not to be made an enemy of. The group of Eternal Tao sect cultivators behind him all looked at Lin Feng with wary expressions. The 2 Aurus Core stage cultivators among them felt unsettled in their hearts. What a domineering golem. If I were to face it I would probably also suffer the fate of death. With such a golem, isn't the master even stronger? How come I have never heard of such a person before? The couple of Foundation establishment stage cultivators looked at Lin Feng and the war god Golem, they showed faint expressions of fear. Master Pu Bei still hadn't made up his mind on whether or not to make an enemy of Lin Feng. He restrained his arrogant behavior a lot and smiled peacefully saying. The chief culprit has already been exterminated by fellow Daoist, allow me to take care of these remaining small fries. They are causing trouble on my Eternal Tao sect's territory, I have unshirkable responsibility. TL. Yes, I know it's contradictory. Lin Feng sneered in his heart. His words sound good and he appears to be helping Lin Feng, but isn't he actually just doing it for himself? The Eternal Tao sect is located at the southern border of the Eternal Tao sect. In the first place they aren't afraid of the great Zhou dynasty's house of the Marquis of Xuanji. If the Marquis of Xuanji dares to come to the Qin dynasty, there will naturally be bit shots of the Qin dynasty coming forward. As for the Yu clan, that's even less of a problem. For the Eternal Tao sect, displeasing the Yu clan not only isn't a bad thing, they could instead even benefit from it. The southern border is the sphere of influence of the Hua clan, one of the 4 great clans of the Great Qin dynasty. The Hua clan has always been on bad terms with the Yu clan, their relationship is that of nearly mortal enemies. If the Eternal Tao sect hands over these members of the Yu clan, it is instantly a great merit and they will obtain the regard of the big boss of the area. This is greatly advantageous to the Eternal Tao sect's further development. Master Pu Bei, this old monster, has some fine calculations. But Lin Feng doesn't plan on stopping him and instead made use of the opportunity to agree. An extra person to help himself split the attention of the house of the Marquis of Xuanji and the Yu clan, what is there to be against? Seeing Lin Feng agree, Master Pu Bei laughed out loud. He ordered the experts of the Eternal Tao sect behind him. Go capture them all. Lin Feng arrived beside Xiao Yan and lifted up the feeble black-clothed youth. Xiao Yan grinned. Master, I saw it all, great fight. Lin Feng touched his bones. There were many places that were broken and Xiao Yan trembled in pain. Little Yan, you're good, very good. Lin Feng inhaled a deep breath. No need to worry, Master will definitely heal you. It will not hold up the fight between you and Murong Yanran. Xiao Yan grinned with pain. You have to keep your word, Master, or else when the time comes I won't only be shaming myself, but also you, Master. At this time Zhu Yi and Xiao Budian also walked over. The two people had heavy expressions and Xiao Budian's eyes were even a little red. Eldest apprentice, brother. Strictly speaking, the enemies who came forward today were here for him and Zhu Yi. This all had nothing to do with Xiao Yan, but in the end it was Xiao Yan who suffered. Xiao Yan gave a crooked smile. Since you guys call me eldest apprentice, brother, I have to do my utter best to protect your guys. Just like Master said, in regular families the older brother must protect his younger siblings, not to mention us. Xiao Yan turned his gaze to Lin Feng's back, looking at Wang Lin who was a bit at a loss. He said with a smile. Yo, you are Master's newest disciple. Witnessing everything that happened before, Wang Lin was feeling an upsurge of emotions right now and he still hadn't completely calmed down. Lin Feng himself didn't do anything. Just sending out a golem he beat the crap out of 3 great Aurus core stage cultivators. In front of Lin Feng, Master Pu Bei who moved a mountain to destroy the protective formation and nearly single-handedly exterminated the Mount Heng school also didn't have his previous domineering arrogance. Seeing Lin Feng go on a killing spree for his disciple and seeing Xiao Yan who ended up gravely injured for his 2 junior apprentice brothers, Wang Lin suddenly felt a warm feeling surge in his heart. He bowed respectfully to Xiao Yan. This bow was more sincere than all of the bows that he did before in the Mount Heng school. Greetings senior apprentice, brother. The 4 apprentice brothers all greeted each other while Lin Feng pondered in his heart. Xiao Yan's injury is too severe. If he isn't properly taken care of his body will become crippled. He suddenly thought of the pill recipe for the Great Thunder Revival pill that he obtained half a year ago after killing Hui Ku, that big monk. The Great Thunder Revival pill, the Great Thunder Monastery's world-famous healing panacea. It has a miraculous effect in healing the damaged body. It can revive the dead and regrow limbs. TL. Does not actually revive the dead, just an expression. Lin Feng sighed and thought. Looks like it's time to learn alchemy. Spreading the black cloud flag, he wrapped up his 4 disciples and flew into the air. In the meantime, the thought lingering in the minds of the other Eternal Tao sect cultivators was, if only I had a master like that too. Chapter 77. New main quest issued. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Controlling the black cloud flag to fly in the air, Lin Feng thought about the matter of the Great Thunder Revival pill while entering into the system with slight jitters. It appears that this bullshit system has issued a new quest again. Gathering up 4 disciples, Lin Feng had completely the first main quest. The new quest issued this time shouldn't be a side quest but the new main quest. Main quest 1.1, create the fundamental Tao technique of the sect. Quest description. A sect assimilating and mastering the Tao techniques and skills of other legacies is no doubt good, but you must build upon past achievement and scale new heights on the existing foundation. Only by having your own unique Tao techniques and skills can you lead the world and pass down your legacy for time eternal, establishing your position as the #1 sect. Quest time limit. 1 year, if not completed before time limit, directly eliminate host. Looking at the quest description, Lin Feng also nodded his head in approval. He is going to create his own sect, of course he has to have a fundamental Tao technique unique to his sect. If he's always using other people's Tao techniques and skills and he gets recognized, awkwardness is only the least of it. No matter how amazing another person's Tao technique it is the legacy of a different person. How can it be the foundation of his own sect? To create his own sect, he needs to create his own, original Tao technique. Moreover, his original, self-realized Tao technique and skills have to be superior to all that already exist in this world. Only like this can it be considered the legacy orthodoxy of the number one sect. But despite the rhetoric, after seeing the quest time limit, Lin Feng's face instantly turned black. Once again there's only 1 year's time, but creating one's own Tao technique and skill isn't an easy thing to do at all. Lin Feng laughed helplessly and sighed. His beautiful dream of him entering closed-door training first for 100 years and then directly coming out to kick ass was once again shattered. At the very least let me reach foundation establishment first. Lin Feng is already at the great circle of perfection of Qi disciple. The next step is to establish his Qi ocean and form his Tao root. From Qi disciple stage to foundation establishment stage is a great leap forward and can greatly boost Lin Feng's strength. Even though he just swept away 3 Aura's core stage cultivators, Lin Feng is self-aware that is just the war god golem's strength, it is not his own. The war god golem's combat strength is completely proportional to the strength of the power source supplied to it. In the short term it's very difficult to have the strength today again when sacrificing Sikong Nan. A lucky event like Sikong Nan, this big shot old demon just happening to be in trouble and then landing in his hands, is pure chance. Currently, Lin Feng doesn't even have the resources to prompt the war god golem to move, let alone have today's combat strength. Unless he provides the Sariras as a power source for the war god golem. But the 24 Heaven Arhat formation is currently Lin Feng's strongest weapon besides the war god golem. With one missing Sarira he is unable to set up the formation. Unless absolutely necessary, Lin Feng does not want to take that step. Which is why Lin Feng wants to advance to foundation establishment stage first. After reaching foundation establishment, Lin Feng can refine the Sariras again. At that time he can reduce the number of Sariras to set up the formation and change the 24 Heaven Arhat formation into the 18 Arhat, 16 Arhat or something. The Arhat formation's power may drop a bit, but it can create a surplus of power sources to provide to the war god golem. Clearly it is a good deal. But after just having this thought, a notification prompt popped out from the system closely afterward. After getting a clear look of it, Lin Feng nearly fainted over. Forming your Tao root, the first step in thousands of years of cultivation and longevity, and also the most important foundation. Host must reach foundation establishment using the sect's original fundamental Tao technique. Lin Feng felt his chest tighten. At this moment, besides swearing, he honestly didn't have anything else he wanted to say. He should have already known that with this unlucky system, there isn't the most bullshit, only more bullshit. Initiating fundamental Tao technique creation system, enter now. Lin Feng grunted and then clicked in. System notifications continued to ring beside his ears. Meditate on an image and the system will automatically create a Tao technique based on the image. Would it be that simple? At this moment Lin Feng calmed down and pondered in his heart. It sounds easy, all he has to do is think of an image in his mind. But what should he use? Should he screw around a bit or be more serious? After carefully thinking for a moment, Lin Feng restrained his impulse to screw around. 1,000-story building rises from the ground. If he covets a moment of pleasure, causing his foundation to be unstable and influencing the completion of the quest later, this system presumably won't mind giving him a quick one. Tao Technique Foundation. Tao Technique Foundation. Lin Feng thought for a moment, a black and white blending image surfaced in his mind. Taiji. TL. Or Tai Chi, I'm gonna use Taiji. You can learn more on Wikipedia. This world doesn't seem to have the Taiji diagram. The mark of the Taoist Holy Land, the Void Temple, is also just a white prosperous cloud. confirmed host's thought, starting to create. Hearing the completely emotionless mechanical voice beside his ears, Lin Feng sighed. Heavens take pity, he actually wanted to try Transformers or Pikachu. Heavenly scripture of the Tao successfully created. A scene of nothingness appeared in Lin Feng's mind. The nothingness gave birth to a Taiji diagram of a yin and yang fish. The Taiji diagram started to spin, turning into the two colors white and black and filling the entire void. Closely afterwards, from the black and white polar opposites was born the four phenomena: earth, water, fire and air. The chaotic earth, water, fire and air stabilized in the void, further developing into the 8 scenes of heaven, earth, wind, thunder, water, fire, mountain and lake. Seeing this scene, Lin Feng understood in his heart. This is Taiji produces the 2 modes, the 2 modes produce the 4 phenomena, the 4 phenomena produce the 8 trigrams. The 8 images split into 8 directions. After settling in the void and turning into 8 black hole-like objects, they stopped changing. The system notification rose up once more. Please choose basic reference Tao techniques to create the first chapter of the heavenly scripture of the Tao, the 8 trigrams chapter. A thought surfaced in Lin Feng's mind. Looking closely at the 8 images that represent the 8 trigrams and linking them with the system notification, he had a guess in his mind. It wants me to get 8 types of Tao techniques that already exist in this world and then merge them together to obtain a completely new Tao technique as my original Tao technique. Thinking here, Lin Feng decided to give it a test. The 8 images that represent the 8 trigrams shouldn't be for show either. There must be a certain requirement, maybe it is the original attribute of the Tao technique. Lin Feng thought of the 9 heavens thunder technique in his mind, and then he saw the black hole in the void representing thunder of the 8 trigram images suddenly light up and become a mass of white light. Afterwards Lin Feng thought of the Netherworld Nirvana manual. Sure enough, the black hole representing water also turned into a mass of white light. To continue verifying his guess, Lin Feng thought of his other water-class Tao technique, the Blue Oceanic River technique. This time the remaining 6 black holes did not react at all. Looks like that's how it is. Lin Feng exhaled a long breath. Next up is the Art of Akala and the Kitagarbha Sutra. Sure enough, the black holes representing fire and earth also lit up in succession with white light. Looking at the 4 remaining black holes, Lin Feng slightly frowned. Heaven, wind, mountain and lake. Heaven, wind, mountain, lake. Hold on. With a thought, a small black mountain the size of a human fist shakingly landed on his palm. It was precisely the soul-bound magic of old Gizeryu from before. After getting smashed away by the war god Golem, Lin Feng secretly used the black cloud flag to take it. This mini black mountain that can change sizes was repeatedly damaged by the war god Golem. Right now it has already lost the majority of its spirituality and must be repaired and refined again. Lin Feng doesn't care about the magic item itself, but instead about the writing faintly carved on the small mountain. Supreme Mountain Script. Just as I suspected, God is truly on my side. Lin Feng laughed happily. Maybe to increase its power, this magic item of Elder Use actually had a portion of the Tao technique of his sect, the Supreme Mountain Script, carved onto it. Thinking of the Tao technique of the Supreme Mountain Script, the black hole in the void representing mountain also lit up with white light. More than half of his original Tao technique has already been completed. Lin Feng was instantly in high spirits. There still remains heaven, wind and lake. I've already saved up a lot of trading points and I was also rewarded a lottery chance from taking in Wang Lin as my disciple. Thinking here, Lin Feng immediately entered into the trading system. Chapter 78. Flowing Wind Sigil, Wind Thunder Genesis Sigil Formation. You are listening at NovelFull.audio. Lin Feng first entered into the trading system. This time he has a clear goal, that is to try and find 3 suitable Tao techniques. Trying his luck in the lottery system is naturally placed at the back. First he's going to find ones to his liking in the trading system. Lin Feng saved up not using the 500 trading points rewarded from the Black Cloud Underground Palace side quest before and the 500 trading points rewarded from taking in Zhu Yi as his disciple. Now adding the 500 trading points rewarded from taking in Wang Lin as his disciple, Lin Feng has currently saved up a total of 1,500 points. Compared to when the system was first initiated and the mere 300 points provided by the novice gift, Lin Feng could be considered relatively rich. But Dao techniques are all expensive items, he still needs to plan carefully when trading them. Art of the Scattered Stars, Secret Dao Technique of the Way of the Stars, comprehending the rotation and movement of the stars in the heavens. This should be able to meet the requirement for heaven, right? Lin Feng scanned the price. 800 trading points. Lin Feng slightly knit his brow and then carefully searched in the trading system for a moment, but there was only the Art of the Scattered Stars, this one Dao technique related to heaven. Look at the other ones first. Lin Feng changed target and continued searching. Heavenly Wind Daoist Scripture, Secret Dao Technique of the Heavenly Wind Temple, comprehending the profound mysteries of the circulation of wind and cloud. Can obtain the Heaven Twister Gale skill from cultivation. Art of the Turbid Waves, Secret Dao Technique of the Turbid Wave School, a technique for simultaneous mastery of both water and earth spiritual energy. Water and earth coincide perfectly, sediment in lakes. Sounds good. Sounding good is one thing, but the price made Lin Feng a bit worried. These two Dao technique are the same price as the Art of the Scattered Stars. They all cost 800 trading points. The three added together are a whole 2,400 trading points. Lin Feng laughed helplessly. Just now he felt like he could be considered a rich man, looking at it now he's still a poor guy. Let's buy one first and then see if I can get lucky in the lottery. If all else fails, I have to do everything possible to get a side quest and earn some more trading points. Lin Feng pondered, at any rate the system still left 1 year for him. The main quest this time is a one-shot deal. As long as he gathers 8 suitable Dao techniques, he can merge and create his own, original fundamental Dao technique for his sect. Not like the last main quest where he had to find his 4 disciples one by one. Thinking of the reward of the main quest, Lin Feng felt his heart blaze. Even though power sources are not easy to find, the war god golem's might gave Lin Feng a deep impression. When he completes the main quest again this time, the reward presumably won't be stingy either. Lin Feng first paid 800 trading points and exchanged for the Art of the Scattered Stars. Comprehending the Art of the Scattered Stars, a magnificent scene appeared in Lin Feng's mind. Like a completely clear night sky, the vast starry sky could be seen at a glance. The stars in the heavens flowed endlessly, thousands of millions of stars wandered and spun in front of Lin Feng one after another, rendering the most mysterious and magnificent scenes one by one. Absent-mindedly, Lin Feng felt like he was in a space of nothingness. Space did not have a boundary, time did not have an end, he just stood there silently flying and wandering with the stars beside him. The disappearance and movement of every star seemed to harbor a principle of the universe. But when Lin Feng wanted to probe the secrets within, they brushed past him and it was difficult to see the truth. The conception of this Dao technique is excellent. Millions of stars, each harboring a powerful and profound principle. But in the end, the person who created the Dao technique hadn't reached that level, he could only scratch the surface. In the end he only had a hazy understanding and shook around a half bottle of vinegar, flaunting his half-assed knowledge. Lin Feng shook his head in regret but didn't take it to heart, because right now the black hole representing heaven of the 8 trigrams had already lit up with white light. Before Lin Feng after all only had a guess that this Dao technique that comprehends the secrets of the stars could meet the requirement. But if he guessed wrong, those 800 big bucks would have gone completely down the drain. But reality shows that the Art of the Scattered Stars meets the system's requirement and Lin Feng relaxed his mind. 8 types of Tao techniques, now he has already gathered 6. Just 2 more and he can merge them together. Coming out from the trading system, Lin Feng entered into the lottery system and prayed in his heart. It would be the best if I could directly get one, then things would be very easy. First he looked at the wheel system, the 3 Tao techniques in it all do not meet the requirements. Entering into the dice system, Lin Feng looked at the selected items. The first thing that entered his eyes was a great thunder revival skill. Holy cow! Lin Feng breathed in and continued looking down. He saw the heavenly wind Taoist scripture quietly placed in the number 12 grid. Lin Feng was a bit divided. One cannot have both the fish and the bear paw. This kind of decision always makes people's balls hurt. But very soon, Lin Feng noticed an even more ball-aching matter. The Great Thunder Revival pill's number is 1, that is to say the dice has to roll a 1 to be able to get the pill. But the problem is, how can 3 dice roll a 1? The smallest is a 3. Before he's never encountered the situation where what he wanted was in 1 or 2, so Lin Feng didn't really care and he only reacted over now. You actually can't get 1 or 2 in this dice system, adding the 2 empty grids, there are actually 4 grids in the dice system where he can't obtain the item within. Lin Feng didn't know whether to laugh or cry. You stingy system, taking advantage of me even on this kind of small thing. But Lin Feng could accept it this time. The system essentially made his choice for him, just go straight for the heavenly wind Taoist scripture in number 12. 12, 12. 12, go. Under the control of Lin Feng's thought, the system threw the dice. The 3 dice started to rapidly spin on the light disc. The first die stopped very soon. Lin Feng looked over and his heart sank halfway down. 1. Lin Feng's heart instantly tightened. The remaining 2 dice have to be a 6 and a 5 for him to be able to get the heavenly wind Taoist scripture. Very soon the second die stopped. 6. Nice. Lin Feng clapped his hands, his eyes staring straight at the last die and repeatedly chanting. 5, 5. 5. The die stopped. Still a 6. The first is a 1, the second is a 6, the third is also a 6. Lin Feng was silent for a moment and then exploded open. Fuck you motherfucker. You system, you're retarded, your entire family's retarded. TL. 13 points is apparently colloquialism for retarded, but just as a joke or in an unharmful way. Like cute retarded. Fuck. Lin Feng left the system with a depressed face. He couldn't even be bothered to see what exactly was in the number 13 grid. At this time the system notification suddenly sounded beside his ears. Host has triggered random side quest, Wind Thunder Sigil. Lin Feng was dazed for a moment. When he returned to his senses, he first checked what exactly he got. That is a stone talisman the size of a palm. Sparse line patterns are engraved on top, ancient and grand. Flowing Wind Sigil, the crown treasure of the Wind Thunder school of the past. It is a pair with another thunder element sigil. The 2 sigils combined can set up the Wind Thunder Genesis sigil formation. The Wind Thunder Genesis sigil formation, wind and thunder rage, helping each other grow hand in hand. Cultivating inside of the Wind Thunder Genesis sigil formation, the cultivator can enjoy the nourishment of endless wind and thunder spiritual energy. They can get twice the result with half the effort and their cultivation speed far surpasses the average cultivator. Lin Feng was dazed for a moment and then checked the side quest. Random side quest, Wind Thunder Sigil. Quest background. The Wind Thunder Sigil was originally the crown treasure of the Wind Thunder School. In itself it does not have a lot of power, but the 2 combined as one can set up the Wind Thunder Genesis sigil formation. This attracted the covetous eyes of other forces who went to rob it. Ultimately the Wind Thunder School fell and the 2 sigils went missing. Quest objective. Head towards the great intersecting mountain range, the wind thunder sea where the thunder element sigil is located. Use the bond between it and the flowing wind sigil to find the thunder element sigil. Quest time limit. 3 months, if not completed on time, the quest will be failed. Misfortune may be an actual blessing. Lin Feng remarked with a smile plastered on his face. This wind thunder sigil may not have any combat power, but using it to assist in cultivation, it is practically a cheat-like existence. With this thing as compensation, his depression from not getting the heavenly wind Taoist scripture was also swept away. Not to mention he also triggered a side quest. Completing this side quest and obtaining the reward, he'll be able to directly exchange the Tao technique from the trading system. Lin Feng put away the flowing wind sigil and calculated in his heart. Find a way first to get a great thunder revival pill to heal Xiao Yan's injury, and then head towards the great intersecting mountain, the wind thunder sea to find the thunder element sigil. Thinking here, Lin Feng planned on going to check up on monk Hui Kong who was captured by the war god Golem. Maybe this monk from the Great Thunder Monastery might have a ready-made Great Thunder Revival pill on his person. Chapter 79. Tricking the hell out of people. You are listening at novelfull.audio. As an Aurus Core stage magic item, the Black Cloud flag may have been tainted by the True Blood River water and is unable to exert its true power in battle, but Lin Feng still easily uses its ability of carrying people to fly and shifting through space. As a spatial-type magic item, besides being able to engage in short-distance spatial travel, the Black Cloud flag can also open up an isolated space. 2 black masses of light flickered in the space. One of them is wrapping up Xiao Yan and his 3 apprentice brothers. Lin Feng went to check up on them. Xiao Yan's injury is relatively stable, while the other mass of black light is wrapping up the war god Golem. Right now it has already become tranquil, the red light in its eyes has completely extinguished and its frightening aura has also vanished. It is just like a statue. The war god Golem's arms are still tightly clamped around Hui Kong. Even though the war god Golem has already lost its energy, Hui Kong who was captured by it also had his mana sealed and was unable to move. Seeing Lin Feng, Hui Kong's lips moved. He wanted to say something, but in the end he still closed his mouth, not speaking. On the surface Lin Feng looked like he didn't care at all, but he was actually secretly observing Hui Kong. You are also here for my disciple? Lin Feng asked coolly. I heard my disciples say that you recognized Hui Ku's Buddhist thunder staff and you are looking for Hui Kong. Hui Kong raised his head and muttered a Buddhist prayer. Amitba, I am indeed here for that traitorous junior apprentice. Brother Hui Ku. Accurately speaking, I want to chase back the Sarairas of my sect elders that were desecrated in Hui Ku's hands. Hui Ku committed great treason and actually refined the Sarairas of the sect elders into magic items. I absolutely cannot sit by indifferently. Even though he landed in Lin Feng's hands, Hui Kong still had a calm look. It's not that he's not afraid, but that he has his faith in his heart and his will is strong enough. Lin Feng asked. What is your Buddhist name? Hui Kong responded. My Buddhist name is Hui Kong. Lin Feng looked at him and suddenly asked. If I tell you Hui Ku's location, what will you do after you find him? Hui Kong's drooping eyelids suddenly flipped open and a strong light surged in his eyes. Cripple his cultivation prowess and take him in front of Buddha to recite scriptures for the rest of his life to atone for his sins. Lin Feng stared at his eyes. He knows that this big monk is telling the truth. Unfortunately, little monk, you can't do that anymore. Lin Feng said calmly. Hui Kong's expression didn't change. You mean that you're going to kill me so I am unable to find junior apprentice, brother Hui Ku to get back the Sarairas? Or are you saying that junior apprentice, brother Hui Ku has already died by your hand, so I am unable to take him in front of Buddha to recite scriptures and atone? Lin Feng glanced at him. Smart aleck. Hui Kong responded. Please enlighten me. Lin Feng waved his sleeve. Hui Ku has indeed already died, but he did not die by my hand. He died together with a cultivator working under Zhu Hongwu. Hui Ku's eyes narrowed slightly, his expression became serious. The Marquis of Xuanji, Zhu Hongwu. In the past, when the great Zhou dynasty joined together with many forces to exterminate the Great Thunder Monastery, the Marquis of Xuanji was the commander-in-chief. Hui Kong is also a disciple of the Great Thunder Monastery. Even though he's not as extreme like Hui Ku, he also harbors hatred towards the Marquis of Xuanji. Lin Feng slightly sneered. If others leave me alone, I'll leave them alone. The second steward under Zhu Hongwu and the guest elder of the Yu clan were all smashed to bits by me. The child of the Yu main branch dared to step on my disciple, so I took his leg. Why do you think I left you behind, not killing you, and only captured you alive? Hui Kong lowered his head saying. I did not actually offend you or your disciples, I just wanted to ascertain the whereabouts of the Sariras. Lin Feng thought. Of course it's because the war god Golem is out of juice. But towards Hui Kong he naturally won't say it like that. Hearing Hui Kong's response, Lin Feng nodded slightly. This is just one of the reasons, the other is because of your junior apprentice. Brother, Hui Ku. Hui Kong looked at Lin Feng a bit surprised. Lin Feng said calmly. Before Hui Ku passed away, I was right in front of him. This Buddhist thunder staff was passed to me by him before he died. Lin Feng explained. But those 24 Sariras were destroyed in the Netherworld Blood River beneath the Black Cloud Underground Palace. Hui Kong's expression paled. Netherworld Blood River. Do you speak the truth? Lin Feng said coolly. I only ever say things once. Hui Kong's mind was in a mess. If the Sariras really were thrown into the Netherworld Blood River, they would definitely be completely contaminated by the tainted blood and lose all of their Buddhist nature. He collected his mind and said in a low voice. I was rude, please tell me the details within. Lin Feng suddenly changed his tone and asked. Because of the matter of the Sariras, you are very discontent with your junior apprentice, brother Hui Ku. Hui Kong was slightly surprised, but he still responded very openly saying. I did indeed commit the sin of anger, but my heart is so, I do not dare to make excuses to hide it. Lin Feng nodded his head and continued saying. Do you know what Hui Ku said the most before he died? He stared at Hui Kong's eyes and said slowly. Hui Ku said, he knows that he has betrayed his sect and will definitely go down to hell. He just hates that he cannot see the day when the Zhou dynasty falls and the blood debt of his sect is avenged. Hui Kong instantly fell silent. Fundamentally speaking, Hui Ku and him are the same. Due to the hatred of his sect being exterminated, Hui Ku went against the prohibition of anger and murder, and even didn't hesitate to refine the Sariras of his sect elders into magic items. Just to increase his strength to take revenge against the Zhou dynasty. He himself also knows that this is an act of treason, but he was simply unable to restrain the rage and hatred in his heart. This is also Hui Ku's will, no excuses and no need to make excuses. Lin Feng sighed with regret saying. Your junior apprentice, brother Hui Ku may have been extreme, but he fights an eye for an eye. Moreover, it's not his own personal vendetta but the blood debt of his sect. Moving forward without being led astray, a tooth for a tooth, I admire people like him. Hui Ku knows that you've always been tracking him. He doesn't ask for your forgiveness, he just asks to be at your mercy after revenge is taken. He will also offer back the Sariras. Lin Feng said coolly. Hui Ku had an epiphany before he died, his anger and hatred dispersed and his greatest regret wasn't that he died before he could avenge his sect, but that the Sariras were lost in the Netherworld Blood River and he was unable to return them to you. Hui Kong's expression gradually paled, a trace of agony surfaced in his eyes. Lin Feng was paying attention to every minuscule change in his expression. Seeing this, he became even more confident in his heart. He hurriedly struck the iron while it was hot. Hui Ku has always hoped to be able to obtain your forgiveness. The reason he gave that Buddhist thunder staff to me is because he hoped that I could return it to you and pass along a message for him. He said that he is destined to enter into the infernal hell to atone, but all of his actions have been for the Great Thunder Monastery. If he had any selfish motives, may the heavens strike him down. The reason I gave the Buddhist thunder staff to my disciple before was just temporarily for him to defend himself. Lin Feng said casually. Since I've encountered you today, I'll hand it over to you. Finishing speaking, Lin Feng handed over the Buddhist thunder staff to Hui Kong, but Hui Kong did not accept it. His face was pale and he only muttered to himself. Junior apprentice, brother, you walked the wrong path, you really did walk the wrong path. You were so silly, sigh. At this stage, Lin Feng already completely knows that in the past when they were training at the Great Thunder Monastery, Hui Kong's and Hui Ku's relationship must have been extremely close. It's very possible that they were taught by the same master and were apprentice brothers who lived and ate together. After the Great Thunder Monastery fell, the two people escaped together. Hui Ku, who had a violent and extreme temper, refined the sariras of his sect elders as magic items to increase his strength, and due to this, upright and serious-natured Hui Kong split with him. It was precisely because of their close relationship in the past that Hui Kong was so intolerant of Hui Ku doing this kind blasphemous thing like desecrating the remains of his elders, and why he would be so committed to capturing Hui Ku and getting back the sariras. Making clear of the relations within, Lin Feng decisively made the final attack. So, the reason you can escape under my hand with your life today, half of the credit goes to that junior apprentice brother of yours who's been pursued by you the whole time. Take care of yourself, where you go from now on is up to you. Hui Kong sighed at the sky. Tears fell like rain and he was silent, not speaking. Lin Feng's expression was calm, he stared at him not speaking. After a long while, Hong Kong's mood finally calmed down. He inhaled a deep breath, looking at Lin Feng and saying, "Thank you for telling me all of these things and undoing the knot in my heart for these past 10 years. Junior apprentice, brother Hui Ku gave this Buddhist thunder staff to you. Since you've already passed it on to your disciple, I naturally won't ask for it. I believe that even junior apprentice, brother Hui Ku will also agree with this decision of mine." Lin Feng asked calmly. "What will you do when I release you?" Hui Kong said. "I wish to head towards the Zhou dynasty's Tianjing city and take a trip to that underground palace to pay my respects to Hui Ku. Then I'll try and enter deep into the underground palace to see if I am lucky enough find a couple of sariras. The odds may be slim, but I will still do my best." Lin Feng could tell that this monk is the kind of person who keeps his word, every word he spits out is a nail down in the plank, thus he loosened the war god golem's restraint and released Hui Kong. Hui Kong brought his palms together. "Before I offended you and your disciples. Thank you for your magnanimity, I am eternally grateful. If luck brings us together again in the future, if there is anything I can do, I am at your disposal." Lin Feng nodded his head indifferently. Hui Kong chanted a Buddhist prayer again and then used the Garuda windsurfing technique, disappearing in the distance in an instant. Watching Hui Kong's distancing figure, Lin Feng exhaled a long breath. Due to Zhu Yi, he is bound to go against the house of the Marquis of Xuanji and the great Zhou dynasty. There is only good and no harm in burying a few more nails for them. The enemy of an enemy is a friend. If he can make use of him, why wouldn't he? Moreover. He. Lin Feng laughed while taking out a storage bag. This is Hui Kong's storage bag. The storage bag of an Oris core stage cultivator, there should be some stuff in here. Chapter 80. Amazing luck. You are listening at novelfull.audio. With Lin Feng's cultivation level, he naturally can't undo the seal left behind on the storage bag by an Oris core stage cultivator. But it is no match for the true netherworld water he has that can purify all mana. He retrieved the netherworld bead from Wang Lin. Even though he can't use the netherworld bead to fight enemies, it's still very easy for him to draw out some true netherworld water to remove the seal Hui Kong left on the storage bag. Opening the storage bag, he stuck out his head and took a glance. Instantly, Lin Feng twitched his lips. This monk Hui Kong seems to walk the path of penance. His storage bag is broke, there really isn't anything good inside. Besides some miscellaneous items like clothes and money, there are only some medicinal ingredients. Lin Feng knows absolutely nothing about medicinal ingredients, he could only miserably cross-reference them with the system one by one to determine the species of the medicinal ingredients. While looking, Lin Feng became ecstatic. These ingredients are actually all the raw materials for the Great Thunder Revival pill. With these ingredients and adding the pill formula obtained from Hui Ku, Lin Feng can make the Great Thunder Revival pill himself. Not bad, not bad. Even though it's a bit troublesome, it's not a big deal. Do things yourself to enrich your life. Lin Feng thought happily and continued to inspect the storage bag. Suddenly, a bronze mirror attracted Lin Feng's attention. The mirror is 1 foot in diameter. The mirror frame is intact, but there is a giant hole in the center of the mirror. Although Lin Feng can clearly sense that there is still spiritual energy retained in the bronze mirror. Lin Feng picked up the bronze mirror and the system notification suddenly rose up beside his ears. Host has triggered random side quest, repairing the universal mirror. Lin Feng opened wide his mouth and only closed it after a long while. Does Lady Fortune smile upon me? He still hasn't completed the side quest from the Wind Thunder Talisman before and now he's got another one. Happiness came too suddenly and it truly made Lin Feng a bit surprised. You're called the Universal Mirror. That's a pretty grand name. Lin Feng pulled himself together and started to read the quest description. Random side quest, repairing the Universal Mirror. Quest background. The treasure the Universal Mirror has suffered great damage. Collect enough galaxy sand to repair the Universal Mirror. Quest time limit. 3 months, if not completed on time, quest is failed. Lin Feng scratched his head. They're both 3 months, but the great intersecting mountain range and the ancient world marsh are to the east and west, they are far more than hundreds of thousands of kilometers away from each other. Even with the black cloud flag there's not enough time to reach the 2 places within 3 months. With such distance, he can't travel to the 2 places even with the black cloud flag. The black cloud flag spatial shifting ability can only travel short distances. If he flies, the speed is also clearly not enough. This is still just the time spent on traveling, if he adds in the time to complete the quests and find the items, time is even more tight. The 2 quests are both to find items. The items are there and he's not afraid of someone getting there before him and taking them. But if he doesn't complete the quests on time, the side quest rewards issued by the system will definitely be gone. Yet it just so happens that right now Lin Feng really needs the side quest rewards to accumulate enough trading points to go trade for the Dao techniques required to complete his main quest. Side quests are all randomly issued, if he misses this opportunity he doesn't know when he'll get another chance. Lin Feng embraces one principle, and that is that one's luck is conserved. Today he had great luck, so for a long time in the future he probably won't have such treatment. My head hurts. Lin Feng shook his head and once again went through Hui Kong's storage bag. After not having any other gains, he placed his attention back on the pile of ingredients. Before anything else, find a way to get a pill furnace first and then make a Great Thunder Revival pill. The longer Xiao Yan's injury drags on, the worse his condition gets. Lin Feng controlled the black cloud flag and flew hundreds of kilometers before landing on the ground. After asking the way, he flew back up and arrived at an old city in the southeast area of the Great Qin dynasty. This place is that same as Chuzhou. There is also a massive cultivation materials trading square. Lin Feng's goal is to find a pill furnace. Even though there are furnaces in the trading system and they are also all good stuff, the amount of trading points required is too great. Right now Lin Feng desperately needs trading points to trade for Dao techniques. He wishes that he could split 1 point into 2 to spend, he is truly reluctant to trade for a pill furnace. Thus he could only come to the city square himself to find one, although Lin Feng was cautious and he brought along Zhu Yi. Entering into the city square, he instructed Zhu Yi and then the two people split up. Lin Feng wandered around for half a day but didn't find a suitable core furnace. The complexity of pill furnaces is the highest of all magic items. The creation process involves alchemy, spell formations and other such things. Its creation difficulty is ranked number 1 in item crafting. The Great Thunder Revival pill also isn't an ordinary medicine. Making this kind of high-level pill, a quality pill furnace can greatly increase the success rate and play a big role. Lin Feng, who didn't have any gain, sighed. After determining Zhu Yi's position and walking over, he saw Zhu Yi bartering with a wandering cultivator. Lin Feng took a close look. Zhu Yi was holding a pill furnace in his hand. It looked pitch black and very normal, only its style was a bit quaint. But Lin Feng doesn't dare to look down on this pill furnace at the slightest, because it was found by Zhu Yi. Who is Zhu Yi? The chosen one, the king of luck. A max blessing of 10, even Xiao Budian and the others who are also main character level cannot compare with him. This kid is definitely a weapon of mass destruction for finding treasures. At this time Zhu Yi also saw Lin Feng walk over. He hurriedly greeted him. Master. At the same time he also quietly used his mana to transmit his voice to Lin Feng. Master, this pill furnace may look ordinary, but I feel like there is something strange with it. Please make a decision, Master. Lin Feng thought in his mind, good disciple, as long as you feel like something strange. But on the surface, Lin Feng only lightly scanned the pill furnace and then didn't pay it any more attention. Zhu Yi also didn't speak anymore and obediently stood behind Lin Feng. Seeing that Lin Feng is the true customer, that wandering cultivator selling things hurriedly used his silver tongue to recommend his merchandise to Lin Feng. Lin Feng randomly picked up a white jade jewel box. It is cool to the touch but not cold. The cold aura within flowed continuously and it was always uniform without any change. Seeing this, the seller instantly introduced with high spirits. You have good eyes, fellow Taoist. This energy sealing casket is of extraordinary quality and is carved from an entire energy sealing stone. If you put valuable medicinal ingredients within, not the slightly bit of their spiritual energy and medicinal properties will be lost. It truly is an exceptional treasure. Once they are picked, some spiritual herbs will rapidly lose their spiritual energy and become useless. At this time, with an energy sealing casket, one does not need to fail on the verge of success. Lin Feng asked indifferently. How are you selling it? Are you prepared to trade using an item or pills? Do you want energy cultivation pills? Energy cultivation pills are pills Lin Feng obtained from Huikong's storage bag. They are rich with spiritual energy and can solidify one's foundation. It helps cultivator practice Tao techniques. The wandering cultivator's eyes instantly lit up. Unless he himself knows alchemy, it is very difficult for a wandering cultivator like him without a sect to obtain pills beneficial to cultivation. If it's energy cultivation pills, then there's no problem. The wandering cultivation smiled, saying, 30 energy cultivation pills and this energy sealing casket is yours. Energy cultivation pills are not easy to make. Huikong's storage bag also only has just 50.60. Hearing him actually dare to make an unreasonable demand, Lin Feng didn't get angry. Looking at him, he lightly spit out 2 words. Too expensive. The wandering cultivator scratched his head. Fellow Taoist, this really is a good thing. Think about it, without an energy sealing casket, if you encounter that kind of spiritual herb that rapidly loses its spiritual energy once picked, won't you cry yourself to sleep? Lin Feng said casually. Since you're selling the energy sealing casket, you're not a herb collector or alchemist. You have absolutely no use in keeping the energy sealing casket. Energy cultivation pills are what you truly need the most. I am willing to use pills to trade with you, so make sure the price you give me is reliable. The smile on the wandering cultivator's face froze and he felt distressed in his heart. Originally he saw that Lin Feng was a new face, so he made an unreasonable demand, but he didn't think that Lin Feng knows that practice. He bit his teeth and said, 25 energy cultivation pills, I really can't go any lower. 5. Lin Feng grinned, but he almost made the wandering cultivator jump up. Are you joking? Are you here to mess with me? Seeing him become angered, Lin Feng wasn't worried. He said leisurely. Just now you said this was carved from an entire energy sealing stone. The wandering cultivator's heart jumped. He saw Lin Feng point at the energy sealing casket and say, you tell me, what's with this seam joined together? Messing around. Who's messing around? Lin Feng's expression abruptly changed and he had a cold face. Playing tricks in this city square, what do you think the result will be? Laughing helplessly, the wandering cultivator said in a low voice. Fellow Taoist, please forgive me, I also had no choice. How's about this, 20 energy cultivation pills? Seeing Lin Feng raise his eyebrows again, he hurriedly changed it and said. 15 energy cultivation pills. I really can't go any lower or else I'll make a loss. 10, if you agree then we'll trade right now, or else let's go over to the city square administration to have a good talk. Lin Feng laughed coldly saying. The wandering cultivator pulled a long face and didn't pick up the conversation. His eyes turned around for a long while and he suddenly saw the pill furnace that Zhu Yi had his eyes on before. He hurriedly said. 15 energy cultivation pills and I'll throw in this pill furnace for you. Your protege had his eyes on it just now. Nice, I've really got amazing luck today. Lin Feng secretly made a victory sign. On the surface he put on airs and then successfully got the pill furnace. Heading out of the city square, Zhu Yi looked like he wanted to say something. Lin Feng glanced at him and asked. Do you feel like my behavior of bartering with that child for a few mere energy cultivation pills was very strange? Zhu Yi pressed his lips together and answered. I do indeed have uncertainty in my heart, please enlighten me, master. Lin Feng smiled leisurely. In the end it comes down to money, but you must not look down on money. Zhu Yi responded saying. I may have studied the classical scriptures, but I am not a pedantic bookworm who does not speak of profit. But I just feel like haggling over a bit of small profit is a bit difficult to understand. Lin Feng looked at him and said seriously. Money actually harbors a powerful conception of power of invincibility and wards off evil. Think about it, in the entire world, the people who pray for money every day far surpasses the number of people who pray to gods and Buddhas. The word money runs through all of humanity and is current in the entire greater realm. Basically, where there are people there is money. The common will and demand of billions of people gathered together, what a massive force that is. Have you ever thought of all this? Lin Feng lightly waved his sleeve and said coolly. There are principles everywhere in the world, big and small, this is not just random talk. Zhu Yi was stupefied by Lin Feng's speech. Only after a long while did he return to his senses. He bowed saying. As master teaches, I was shallow before. Lin Feng nodded his head in a composed manner and walked forward in satisfaction. Zhu Yi hurriedly followed behind him. Bringing Zhu Yi back to their temporary accommodation, Lin Feng immediately took out the pill furnace and started to ponder about what exactly this treasure is.